Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Awareness. If you enjoy old school catch and hook, technical, professional wrestling just like the Golden Age, then make sure to check out Hammerlock Pure Wrestling, a brand new wrestling promotion in Ontario, Canada that has been catching fire. If you are in the Ontario area, they have a new show coming up in Elmer November 13th. And if not, stay tuned because they may be coming near you. Hope you enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Awareness. I am your host, Vikram Prashar. Today I have a very special guest for all of you. He's a huge name in the Ontario, Canada independent wrestling scene as he's the promoter of the brand new promotion that's been catching a lot of steam, Hammerlock Pure Wrestling. Today we are going to wrestle the mind with Adam Daviau of Hammerlock Pure Wrestling. How are you doing today, Adam?
Oh, I'm not too bad. Been pretty busy, but not too bad.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't imagine how busy you've been with everything that's been going on, but it's definitely well worth it because I was at the first Hammerlock show, guys, and if you guys haven't checked it out and you're able to, you guys should definitely attend one of the shows for sure. And, you know, it's crazy to think that it's already October of 2021. And it's been a huge year, especially for you and Hammerlock Pure Wrestling starting. So I like to kick off my interviews with gratitude because I think it's a very important component to like overall happiness and positivity. So what are you personally grateful for to come out of 2021?
My health, the health of all the talent that's out there, and just the overall people starting to shift to wanting to care about each other again and not just tear each other down.
Yeah, I agree, especially, and I think like in a way, COVID was a bit of a blessing in disguise because it did kind of make us care about each other a lot more, especially since we didn't get to see each other a lot. So yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Great, amazing things to be grateful for. Now, those of you who are watching that haven't heard of Hammerlock Pure Wrestling, the promotion has a much more of a traditional and old school way about it. I personally love it. I was grateful to be at the first show in September, as I mentioned earlier. So what made you want to like re-innovate this traditional style that many, including myself, have missed?
A big piece of it is just the simple fact that wrestling as a whole has really taken off and gotten away from our our tradition, the old school, the catch and hook, the catch as catch can. We've really gone away from it. We're leaving our roots, and you see a lot more high flying, a lot more gimmicky style wrestling, and I think that even myself, I fully agree that there are places, there are fans that love that stuff, but I think it was time to try and bring back our roots and bring back some of the old fans that aren't involved, like have lost touch with wrestling. And give them something to come back and watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great way of putting it because, yeah, like as someone who's currently training and who has been a hardcore fan, I do enjoy like the modern wrestling style that we have, but I also really enjoy traditional catch and hook wrestling. And there wasn't really a home for that ever since the high flying and stuff took off. Like, it's not that there's an issue with the high flying. It's more that that's pretty much all we're getting right now.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you started up Hammerlock Pure Wrestling and we're getting that old school catch and hook style because it was missing. And I think a lot of fans tuned out when we lost it because a lot of people enjoyed that realistic, grapply, gritty type environment in pro wrestling. And it's very important that we bring it back. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, like we mentioned how big the first show was, because it was a huge success. I was there in Strathroy, and I thoroughly enjoyed being there. It was probably one of the best wrestling shows I've ever been to be honest. And I've personally heard nothing but positive feedback since. So I can't imagine how you were. Like, what were your thoughts after going into that show, first of all? Because I know it had to be stressful, but also leaving, knowing you had just nailed it, like, out of the park.
So going into it, I was a ball of stress. There was a lot of like, is it going to work? Is it? And just doubting myself, and losing sleep at night. But when the show started, it felt so good and felt so right. And then leaving at the end of the show, just not having the talent coming up to me saying how much fun it was and how professional it was, having fans saying that they're so excited to have it back. And then over top of that, even sponsors approaching me saying that they had a great time and they want to sponsor every event that goes back to Strathroy. It really made me feel like we are doing the right thing, and that there is a place for the golden age of wrestling in today's wrestling world.
Absolutely, yeah. And one question that I'm also very curious about, because that main event between Rodney Matthews and Tyson Dukes was absolutely unreal. And going into it, we actually didn't know it was a title match for the Midwestern Ontario Championship, I believe. What went into that decision of putting the title on the line? Are we going to see more of a partnership between Hammerlock and Midwestern?
Well, it was one of those things. We obviously, being brand new, we don't have a belt with Hammerlock. But we wanted to throw a curveball to everybody and really just get that partnership, because we are basically partnered with Hard Knocks Wrestling Academy. That's where Tyson Dukes trains coaches out of. I thought it would be a great fit to pull in the Midwestern Heavyweight Championship and have it awarded, have a use for it. It just seemed to be the right move at the right time. It was decided very, very last minute when we had those conversations. And the great thing about it is, Clarence was really welcoming of the idea. And it just added that extra oomph to that match.
Yes.
Which even the wrestlers didn't know. The talent didn't even know that was going to happen. So it caught them off guard as well. So nobody knew that there was going to be a belt there. I didn't let any of the talent know. Nobody knew except for myself and Clarence. We knew what was happening, and the announcer, because I had to tell him what was going on.
Of course.
Yeah, so it was one of those things that it just felt right. We are looking at eventually bringing in our own belt and potentially carrying both belts. So we'll see what the future holds. But for now, I've got Tyson's going to have to defend his heavyweight championship.
Of course. If you're able to say right now, any possible contenders for these upcoming events that you have planned?
Unfortunately, I won't be revealing that. One of the things that we are doing is we're not revealing our cards. We're not going to reveal our matches. It is quite different than what everyone else does. And that's just because we want to attract people to the show to watch wrestling. We want open minds, and they will definitely get a good show anytime that belt is being defended. I could guarantee that.
Absolutely. And you did mention that you guys haven't been releasing the entire match cards before the show. And I got to say, it's interesting and I'm with it because it was very exciting being there and having this name come out. And oh my gosh, this guy's going to be fighting tonight. I had no idea. And it clearly works because um, it drew great numbers and a lot of people were very happy and surprised with who's coming out. So I love how different you guys are going about things. And one way you guys are going different with it than other independent promotions is you guys are showcasing the talent as more larger than life. So rather than them selling their own merchandise at the merch table, they have someone selling it for them. If you want to meet wrestlers, you can meet them at the meet and greet after, or you usually have a special attraction at intermission. What went into that decision?
Well, for us, we really want to separate and take away from the almost like a market, take away from that, and really get people really wanting to see the wrestlers, and make it so much so that they see them as the great talent that they are, and not just as, oh, he's just like my dad, or she's just like my mom. We really want to take that separation out, and with that, one of the things that we're doing is, when there's a bad guy, the bad guy will never ever come out. That's one of the things we really want to make it so people have that excitement again of, as the wrestlers are leaving the facility, there's people lining up wanting the autograph, and just building that excitement, the excitement of trying to get to meet them, and separating the fan and the talent. So, and then from there, we have one special attraction, and that's just to to try and build up for that meet and greet afterwards. Have the one main attraction at intermission, and then everyone else, knowing how great that goes, everyone else hopefully comes to the meet and greet afterwards to meet all the wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a very, once again, very interesting and different way of doing things. And I'm with it because it makes the promotion stand out, makes the wrestlers feel larger than life. And it's always fun to try new things. And I think it's something that could really work out well. And of course, the promotion is still young, but do you have any like long-term goals that you'd want to share with the public when it comes to Hammerlock?
Well, we do. So our big goal, as people will see, is we're not setting up in one specific town. We want to move around, hit up different areas. We're going to tend to hit the smaller towns, just to stay away from anywhere that may be either oversaturated with other promotions, or and be able to give these small towns some entertainment, where that way they don't have to drive that half hour, 45 minutes into a big city just to go see something. It gives parents an opportunity to come out with their kids and not have to worry about a half hour drive home afterwards, and just really bring it to them. Apart from that, what the end goal would be, that would be nice for myself, is to have us traveling and go in different provinces, completely different areas across Canada. That's obviously a long-term goal. Nothing that's going to happen overnight or anything like that. We definitely have to build to that, but that's where what we would like to do is to eventually get to a point where we're traveling. We do feel that we're different enough that even if we go into an area where there is another promotion, our style will be completely different than the style that's there. So there's no clashing. We can all, build on each other instead of competing for the same fans doing the same style.
Absolutely. Working together, and also seems like you have the fans in mind, which is very admirable, because there's a lot of people in this business who would put themselves first. So I'm really glad to hear you're all about the fans. And I'm curious to know, because like with all the buzz going on about it, there's a lot of excitement going. What made you want to start your own wrestling promotion?
Well, it's kind of a tough one. Back in 2009, Becky and myself had created a roller derby league up in Sudbury. And I really enjoyed doing the promotions and running the league. And I know it is completely different than wrestling, but I really enjoyed the challenge. Then, moving down here for her to train and going to different promotions, watching different promotions in the Ontario scene, I just felt like there was just something missing. I've went to some hardcore promotions, which I enjoyed because that's what I was going there for. I went to other promotions where they were putting on a wrestling show, and I've enjoyed them all. But I just felt like that old school feel just wasn't there. The pure athleticism, the pure grappling, and the intense matches that come along with going hard for that full 8 minutes and not stopping, and not getting out of the ring, not playing outside the ring, I felt there was something missing. So I started talking with Tyson. Originally he was going to start one, and then he's gotten quite busy with projects. So I turned around and I said, well, I don't want this to fall to the wayside. I felt like with my past experience, and going at it in a business perspective, not as a hobby or trying to do it with my buddies, I felt that I had the right things in place to purchase everything from Tyson and get everything going in the right direction. And then it was a quick turnaround because I purchased it and pretty much announced that we're having our first show. So it was there was a lot of work put into it, and my whole thing was just to bring a different aspect. And again, looking around, I know I have some friends, and there's people older than I am as well that I'm friends with that's what they miss, is that old school feel. So I just thought, let's give it a shake. Let's give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah, of course. And honestly, like that's a great story, man. It's like almost like betting on yourself and betting on your passion, because you know you can do it, and that fans would want that style of wrestling back. So it's honestly awesome to see what you're doing. And I'm also curious to know, when did your interest in professional wrestling in general begin? Like, have you always been a fan and then you became a promoter, or?
Well, I was a fan since high school. I did Olympic style wrestling in high school. Me and my buddies used to get every WWE or WWF back then pay-per-view. We used to get every single one of them, and it was a big piece of my high school years was involved with wrestling, watching wrestling, doing wrestling. It got away from me for a little while, and then when I met Becky, Becky had always said, you know, she loved wrestling. So she had never been, she hadn't been to an actual WWE event in, I think she might have been a little girl when the last time she had went. So we actually came down from Sudbury to London for a show here at the Labatt Center. And ever since then, we've been hooked. And then with her training, it really helps. It really helps, you know, motivate that love of wrestling. So it's kind of hard not to be motivated when you're watching it every week live in front of you while she trains.
Yeah, of course, definitely, totally understandable, man. Absolutely. And so you said it's pretty much been with you majority of your life since high school. So whether it was like in the past or even like recently, have you ever like had the urge to step in the ring and compete?
I I have, but at the same time, for myself, um, there's, I guess, issues or certain criteria that I wouldn't be successful at, especially, and I give props to all the talent that do it. You know, the calling, you know, on spur of the moment, making changes to a match would just throw me completely off. And I know that. So I really give props to everyone that does it, because I know myself, I wouldn't be able to. I've actually done a couple seminars to see what it's like, and I enjoyed them thoroughly. But for me, I know that my expertise and my talent is going to be promoting all those people and promoting shows that the talent that can do it really, really well. And I'm going to be able to promote it and get them well known, and treat them with respect, and show them, you know, what they're worth, and how they should be treated from everybody.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a great way of looking at it, but also someone who's like currently training in wrestling, and it's like you probably watch like us in the ring and you're like, "Oh, that looks so complicated." But honestly, when I see like you as a promoter running around like during the show, I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I'm like, being the promoter looks complicated to me. So, you know, it's crazy like how different people will like take different tasks, you know?
Absolutely. It's and that's one of the things, like, I've been asked, you know, will I ever get involved? Am I ever going to have a spot? For me, I don't even want to talk on the mic when I'm at a show. I want to do my thing, and let the talent that have the skills to do it just do it. Because to me, the show isn't about me. The show is about the talent. It's about the story that the talent is putting on in the ring. So I don't want to take away from anybody by getting myself involved for a spotlight that I'm not deserving of. Because, you know, to me, I'm doing this so they get the spotlight, not for me to get the spotlight.
Of course, yeah, and I think that's like I really respect that aspect on it, because it is true in like different promotions and stuff. Like there's definitely been stages where like a general manager or a promoter kind of had the spotlight on them. So I totally understand that point of view. But, you know, switching gears here a little bit, because on this podcast, mental health awareness has always been a topic of conversation. So if you're comfortable with sharing, have you ever struggled with your mental health, and what advice would you give to someone watching that could be struggling?
Oh, absolutely. You know, growing up, I was always told that I was going to go somewhere playing hockey my whole life. And that clearly didn't happen. So when it became time for me to move past competitive hockey, it was a real struggle. I struggled a lot because I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And for me, the biggest thing is talk to your friends, talk to your family, because they're the ones that know you the most. So your true friends and your family, they'll know how to respond. They'll know, because they know you. They should be able to support you and help you get past those tough spots in life.
Yeah, of course. I couldn't agree more. It's like the people who are most close with you, whether that's friends or family, you want to make sure you're surrounding yourself with good people and a good crowd, especially like the for the unfortunate people who maybe don't have the best family, and
Yep.
that usually leads them to not making the best friends. I know it's easier said than done for people out there listening, and I'm not in that situation where like I'm very grateful that I do have a family that cares about me, but for the people out there that don't, like, I would advise, like, just try to make good friends, because you are who you surround yourself with. And at the end of the day, your loved ones are the people you're going to go to with your problems, and you want them to give you the best advice and them to care about you, really. So they thank you for opening up about that. It's very important to get that message out there, especially in a business like wrestling, because it's not very often people in this business are going to hear about things like that. So
Yep.
that's why I really try to push that out there. And, like someone like yourself who's been seeing a lot of success lately, how do you keep a positive and healthy mindset to stay motivated?
Um, Really, the way I do it is I try and think of the people that are affected around me. So I try and concentrate on, what, if I'm staying positive, if I'm doing good things, the ones around me are being rewarded as well. So it makes me feel good when others are happy, when others are achieving goals that they've set. And when I'm able to have that, give them that smile, give them that, potentially that piece of, oh man, I have to do this again. When they're maybe doubting themselves, that's what really pushes me to just try and keep focus, stay positive, and keep looking into the future at what else can we do. Because unfortunately, like you said, in the wrestling world, there's not too many people see uh, the good and the bad, right? They like what the talent puts out there in the ring. They might come out of the ring and be completely down because something's going on in their life, but yet they've put on that brave face to make everyone else smile. So for me, I want to make them smile, make them happy, and make them help them realize their worth and that they do matter. Like I've thanked the talent, I don't know how many times from the show, just because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be putting on a show. So the fact that they all came on board, uh, I want to make sure that they realize how important they are.
Yeah, I really like your mindset as a promoter, like going into this, and like it's almost like, yeah, because a lot of the time the talent doesn't get that, like they don't get that care that they deserve in a lot of promotions. So I think it's great, the way you look at things, and I hope it can, like, maybe shape shift the independent scene a little bit, because yeah, man, it's very important in almost any other sport. The athletes are the most taken care of. That's what the organization cares about the most. But it seems like in wrestling and a lot of promotions, and a lot of promotions do care, but in a lot of them they don't. So I think it's great, and you're in the perfect job, honestly. Like, just like the mindset that you have, I don't think I'd rather work for another promoter. So, yeah, honestly, like that's a great way to look at it. And as the promoter, and as we said, that show was great. What was your favorite match on the card? Because there was a lot of good ones.
Um, well, it's tough. It's tough. I really like the Tyson Dukes Rodney Matthews match, but if I go based on uh, new and old and whatnot, I really enjoyed the Chili Brown versus Bryce Hanson, two completely green wrestlers that put on a fantastic match. Like, I don't think anybody in the place would have thought that they were brand new and making their debut uh, that night. Like, anyone that would have watched that match would have sat there going, "Man, those guys have been, training for years." So they put on a fantastic match.
They really did put on a great match. And one thing I did also want to ask you about, because obviously, and especially like as someone who's currently training, I think it's really cool how Hammerlock is kind of having this like old school young lion type uh, division, I guess, with the guys coming in with just the black trunks and the Hammerlock logo. Very old school. What made you want to do that?
Just trying to grow, right? Like, for us, we truly believe in growing the brand and growing the wrestlers. So with our connection to Hard Knocks Wrestling Academy, it really gives us that ability to train these young wrestlers in our style. They'll be able to do any style out there, but we'll be able to concentrate on our style and mold them into very professional young athletes. And I feel like it's a great look. It really helps showcase the athlete, and it gives them a good sleek look. So
Yeah, no, 100%. It's definitely, and it's also a great way, like you said, to showcase the athlete because in some scenarios when you do rise to that level where you got all the special attires and stuff, it's awesome, but it could be distracting sometimes. And with these younger guys, it's great for fans to see what they're good at in that ring and what their
yes.
style is because they're more focused on the match. So I 100% agree. And like with all this being said, if you were asked what can we expect next during the rise of Hammerlock Pure Wrestling, what would your answer be?
Greatness. I think we're just going to keep growing. We're going to keep bringing in new talent. We're going to keep training, and our guys are expected to train hard and be prepared. We're I think again, with the ability of not having to do shows in one spot, it's really going to open us up to be able to go anywhere at any time and put on a phenomenal show. And it's we also do have some ladies that are within our ranks. So we didn't have any of the ladies on in Strathroy, but that's going to be another the next piece to the puzzle.
Man, and that's exciting to see the women's division that Hammerlock Wrestling is going to be presenting. So that is a wrap up for the questions. But as you know, I do like to play one quick game before letting all my guests go. So I'm going to be listing off 10 names, and you can use either one word or sentence to describe each of them. And for everybody watching, I did clarify with Adam that these are some of the names that both of us know because we are obviously we're involved with the independent wrestling scene here. So and everybody check out these names if you don't know them because they're very talented. So we're gonna kick things off with one of the men that main evented the first Hammerlock show, Rodney Matthews.
He is a great protege. I would consider him a protege, and he is going to do great things.
I couldn't agree more. He's very talented. One of the guys that kicked off the show, for those of you who don't know, who are speaking about that match, Chili Brown.
Athletic. He is super athletic and talented for a guy who has not done sports before.
Oh yeah, he'll claim that. He's told me so many times.
Yeah, like that man. He's going to be something else. He's definitely a rising star.
Oh, 100%. My favorite story was the gummy worm story. That was hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah. So next up we have Strathroy's own Mick Brickhouse McGuire.
He's hardworking, very hardworking.
Absolutely, and very generous, because like I said, I'm training, and he's one of those guys that helps me out a lot. So if you are listening, thank you. Next up is Halal Beefcake.
Oh, entertainers. Those guys are 100% entertainers, and super nice outside the ring. Like super guys.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. They're hilarious and very nice outside the ring. One of their opponents from the first show, Carter Mason.
He is King of the North. He's again. I wouldn't consider him a rising star. I think he's high up there. He's eventually going to be a household name.
I couldn't agree more, honestly. I could see Carter Mason getting signed like tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised because he's that good. Next up, we've got Aiden Prince.
He's hardcore. He super nice guy. Outside of Hammerlock Wrestling, though, you see his hardcore stuff, and it can get pretty insane. But he's again tremendous guy.
Absolutely, very intense. Next up, we have the big one himself, Ethan Dukes.
He is, what's the best way to describe him? For a young man, he has a very old soul. His knowledge of wrestling, you could literally take him right out from the 1950s. Like, you could ask him anything about any of the old school stuff, and he's got such smarts when it comes to wrestling.
Absolutely. He's a very, very knowledgeable competitor, knows a lot of old school matches and just ways of going about things in the ring. Next up, we have his opponent, Michael Grayson.
Michael is a phenomenal guy. Super great guy. We've, I guess, made him change his character slightly for Hammerlock, because again, we don't go with very many gimmicks in Hammerlock. But he's a really nice guy. Like, he's somebody that will give the shirt off his back for you.
I couldn't agree more. Like, one of the nicest guys I've met in this business. But it's also crazy because like, I've stepped in the ring with him at training, and he's also one of the most vicious competitors out there. So
absolutely.
So anybody who competes that's listening, don't take that for granted, because don't take him lightly, man. Next up, we have the great Canadian loon. We know him as Jessie.
Jessie is again, he's a great competitor, and he's got a great heart, and sometimes I do think that he does a great job, but he tears himself down. I think he's one of those guys that he's really hard on himself when he's got to look at all the good he's done, not just, oh, I made a mistake, or he's very hard on himself, which again I think will eventually make him a really great competitor in every level.
Yeah, he's got that mindset where he's like, I don't think he truly realizes how good he actually is,
Yeah,
and yeah, that only helps you just continuously improve.
absolutely.
Yeah, but last but not least, someone who many would probably say is the face of Hammerlock Pure Wrestling, the new Midwestern champion, Tyson Dukes.
Legend.
I
That
agree.
he 100%. He's a legend. He I don't think there's anyone out there that can compete in a grappling, catch as catch can type style wrestling against him. He is absolutely phenomenal. His knowledge, his experience, it's just legendary. Absolutely legendary.
It is, because honestly, like Tyson Dukes is my trainer, for those of you who don't know, and sometimes I'll be in the ring and we'll ask, because he's the one that really innovated the old school catch mindset that I have, and when I'm training with him and like he's explaining things, sometimes I'm like that's insane, like how do you know all of that? Like
Yeah.
he's insane.
He's someone that I think a lot of people don't because he's so down to earth as well. A lot of people don't realize the person that they have in front of them, the person who's giving them instruction. And I think if people just sat back and looked at his experience and who he is as a wrestler, not just as a person, they would be in awe of who is actually teaching them.
100%. Absolutely. And like a lot of fans out there that maybe don't necessarily like who are more casuals and don't follow the hardcore stuff, they have no idea how like good he is and how much he's given to this business. It's crazy. And if any of you out there who don't know, I guarantee you one of your favorite wrestlers that you watch on TV, at least one of them, and that's probably me underestimating, will tell you how good Tyson Dukes is if you ask them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So I thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Where can everybody find you and Hammerlock Pure Wrestling on social media?
So we're on Instagram. Instagram, it's at Hammerlock Pure Wrestling. On Facebook, it's at Hammerlock Wrestling. And then whenever we have events, we do sell our tickets on hammerlockapparel.com, which you could also buy Hammerlock Apparel that supports the whole business as a whole. And you could come prepared to a show. If you don't know who's on the card and you don't want to cheer for someone that may not be there, buy some Hammerlock Apparel and show up and support the company as a whole.
That was a great way of putting it too. That was a great way, honestly. But yeah, guys, honestly, for real, buy tickets if you are in the area for any shows. You will not regret it. Buy the merchandise because it is high quality, great stuff. And just stay tuned to the social medias. I'll have the links to everything Adam just listed below if you guys are watching on YouTube. And thank you to everybody listening on Spotify, watching on YouTube. And yeah, I can't wait to see what we have in store next for Hammerlock Pure Wrestling. Hope everybody enjoyed, and peace out. Have a good day, everybody.